Comment, like, subscribe. The bell keeps you notified. It helps the show thrive. Christmas for so many of us is a time of joy, happiness, and wonder, full of friendly faces like those of Santa Claus, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Frosty the Snowman. There is, however, a darker side to Christmas, a side full of mischief and monsters. Across various cultures on the globe, there are figures who are more menacing than merry in nature that have become linked with Christmas, from characters who cause mischief and general naughtiness to literal monsters that come to hunt down naughty children. Yeah, Christmas is far from just the good tidings and merriment that so many of us link with the holiday. So, for the final video of Name Explains Christmas Week 2022, I want to share with you some of these darker Christmas figures, and of course, how they got their names. And yeah, this is my last video for 2022, before I take my usual 2 weeks off to play video games and gorge myself on food. So, thank you to all for watching and enjoying my videos in the year 2022. It's been a pretty strange one for multiple reasons to say the least, but I'm beyond thankful for viewers such as yourself who are still watching and enjoying these videos. I honestly love being able to do this for a living, and wonderful people like you make that possible. I honestly appreciate it so much. However, if you are upset about the lack of videos over the next few weeks, please do not be too alarmed, as I'll be back with new videos on the 9th of January 2023. Though that's enough of the niceties, let's delve into the freakier side of the festive season, and why not kick things off with perhaps the most well-known evil Christmas creature there is, Krampus. Krampus is a part goat, part man, part devil-like creature of Germanic origins. He is seen as one of St. Nicholas's companions, and while Nick rewards good children, Krampus is there to punish the bad kids. These punishments range from lashing bad kids with birch sticks to taking them back to the underworld with him. As for the name Krampus, well, it seems to relate to his appearance, as Krampus comes from the Germanic word of klampen, which means claws, because Krampus more often than not is depicted as having huge claws. In various Germanic folklores, St. Nicholas has a collection of companions who range from naughty to nice, and one of those who are naughty is Belsnickel. He actually appears a few weeks prior to Christmas Day and visits children to decide if they are being good or bad, or impish or admirable, as Dwight put it once. One tradition of Belsnickel is that he throws candy, cakes, and nuts on the floor for children. The kids who scramble for the treats and can't recall the good things they've done in the year get swatted by Belsnickel, whereas the good children who wait politely get the candy and rewards. The nickel in Belsnickel's name relates to his higher power of St. Nicholas, and the Belsch at the start of the name is thought to come from a Germanic word for fur, which relates to the tatty animal furs that Belsnickel is usually seen wearing. One final evil Christmas figure from the general Germany/Austria region I want to highlight has to be Frau Plecta. She's referred to as the Witch of Winter, and while can be kind, she also punishes lazy, dishonest children, as well as people who refuse to stop working on her feast day, especially yarn spinners for some reason. In worst case scenarios, she is known to split open the bellies of her victims and fill them with garbage. Yeah, like I said, she's a bad egg. The Frau in her name is a Germanic female title, and the latter part is seen as meaning shining one, which may come from the fact she's based on an older pagan goddess. She is usually joined by her creatures called the Straggali, who often get her leftovers. Their name origin doesn't seem as clear to us, however. Another Germanic-speaking part of the world which isn't part of mainland Europe is of course Iceland, and Icelandic culture seems to very much have their own Christmas folklore full of strange creatures. The scariest of these creatures has to be Grýla. She is sometimes referred to as a Christmas witch, but often referred to as an ogress. Records of her come from the 14th century, but it was later down the line she became linked with Christmas in around the 19th century. She is seen as once again as a being children should be scared of, with reports of her coming down from the mountains and taking naughty children back with her in her sack. Her name roughly translates into growler, I imagine because she growls at those who do misdeeds. Grýla is also seen as having many children, with 13 of those kids becoming Christmas creatures unto themselves, those being the Yule Lads. The Yule Lads are 30 mischievous figures who appear one by one in the 13-day run-up to Yule, and each cause chaos in a specific way. Most of the 13 Yule Lads have names which are pretty self-explanatory and highlight the kind of mischief they cause. In English, these names include Spoon Licker, Pot Scraper, Bowl Licker, door slammer, cigar gobbler, sausage swiper, window peeper, door sniffer, and candle beggar. Names that might need a tad more of explaining include sheep coat clod, who suckles ewes, gully gawk, who steals foam from cow's milk, and stubby, who steals food from frying pans. As well as children, Gleria has a cat too, a beastly cat which eats children who don't get new clothes for Christmas. And its name is Jolaklotin, which simply translates into English to mean the Christmas cat. Away from Germanic cultures, we have the Christmas folklore from the French-speaking world. French culture seems to have a selection of strange Christmas entities too. One of the less spooky ones are the Lutters. Lutters are seen as festive hobgoblins, and while can be nice, also have a naughty side and can cause mischief. They're seen as Père Noëls, the French Santa's version of elves. Their name is thought to come from an old Norman word meaning ghosts. Things get a tad more spooky, however, in French Christmas folklore with Hans Trapp, the Christmas scarecrow. The story of Trapp revolves around a man named Hans Trapp who was extremely wealthy and merciless. His yearning for power led him to try and make a deal with the devil. However, the Pope himself had to step in to stop with this and led to Hans being excommunicated with all his power and wealth taken from him. From here, he lived in the mountains of Bavaria as a savage, wishing to cause more harm in this world, and even getting a taste for human blood. This all resulted in the most infamous story about him, where one night, disguised as a scarecrow, he kidnapped a 10-year-old boy and roasted him and sliced him to bits in hope to eat his flesh. However, before eating the flesh, he was struck with lightning, causing him to live in purgatory for his sins. Since this time, he joined forces with Père Noël to find redemption. He punishes the naughty kids in the same way Krampus does. That's of course all a story. However, Hans Trapp is based on a real person. Hans von Trofta, who inspired Trapp's name, was a German knight who got into a land dispute with the local church, which resulted in Trofta tearing down a dam of the village he lived in and flooding the place. It's easy to see how this devilish act morphed into the devilish Christmas scarecrow of Hans Trapp. In France, there's also Pierre Frottard, whose name means Father Whipper. He plays a similar role to Belsnickel as being the figure who once again punishes the naughty children. This is done through whipping, as his name implies, but there are also stories of him being cannibalistic too, much like Hans Trapp. My nation of the United Kingdom seems to have one spooky Christmas character that has become celebrated, that being the Welsh figure of the Mari Lwyd. This name means grey mare, and this creature is in fact a horse of sorts. Mari Lwyd is usually depicted as a dead ghost horse, with homages often including a real horse's skull. People make models of this creature and go around town at night knocking on doors and singing songs. Despite being quite spooky looking, it seems that this tradition isn't too spooky unto itself. No children being eaten or sliced open in this case. And while the USA doesn't have Christmas folklore dating back centuries for a variety of reasons, the nation has created a handful of Christmas-themed creatures that have become mainstays of popular culture around the festive season. Gremlin is a word of somewhat recent creation, coming into popularity in the early to mid 20th century, and is thought to be a combination of the Old English gremlin, meaning to vex, and goblin. The term became linked with mischievous creatures during the World Wars, where quote-unquote gremlins were blamed with causing mechanical failures in aircrafts, primarily used by British soldiers. The term of gremlin became linked with Christmas, however, thanks to its use as the name of the titular creatures in the 1984 Christmas movie of Gremlins. These gremlins are the evolved form of a different, cuter creature called mogwai. Mogwai is a term dating back to Chinese culture and means things like monster or evil spirit. Though quite possibly the USA's most celebrated evil Christmas creation has to be the one first found in the pages of the 1957 children's book written and illustrated by Dr. Seuss, The Grinch. The Grinch came about as a story when Zeus's wife was unwell during the holidays, and the over-commercialization of Christmas left Zeus feeling bitter. While popularized by Zeus, it doesn't seem like he coined the word. An earlier usage goes to poet Rudyard Kipling, who described a harsh grating noise as grinching in one of his poems. It's believed that Zeus took this adjective and formed into the name for his Christmas-hating creature, with the rest being history. The USA also gave us the foulest Christmas creature of them all, the elf on the shelf, which has that name simply for rhyming/marketing reasons. It was first brought into this world in 2005 and immediately dubbed itself a Christmas tradition, somewhat presumptuous to say the least. Kate Tuttle in her Atlantic article explained best why this creature is so awful, calling it a marketing juggernaut dressed up as tradition, whose sole purpose is to spy on kids, and that you should not bully your child into thinking that good behavior equals gifts. This, however, hasn't stopped the countless accessories you can buy for it, and the endless stream of strange situations people put this dumb dull in for social media attention. But am I really in the position to mock people wanting social media attention? And that's pretty much what my entire job is anyway. Maybe I'm being too much of a Grinch myself. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, have a great New Year, and thank you all for watching and enjoying Name Explain in the year 2022. I will see you all again on the 9th of January 2023 as we kick off our now traditional New Year's week. Name Explain depends on viewers like yourself supporting the channel financially on Patreon, so a huge thank you to everyone who does. Donating just $1 a month helps the channel amazingly and gets you bonuses including ad-free videos, exclusive content, and the power to request ideas to be made into actual Name Explain videos. $2 a month gets you all that, plus your name here with all these awesome people. Visit patreon.com/nameexplain or click the link down below to find out how you too can support the channel. Thank you. Thanks for reaching the end of the video. Why not watch another and subscribe to keep up to date on all things Name Explain. You can find myself on Instagram where I'm NameExplainYT, and join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain to talk with myself and other name nerds. All that will be linked down below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, thank you all so much.